Gather around the fire, friends. I've got one heck of a story to tell you about the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency. Now, I know a lot of people think the CIA is all cloak and dagger spy stuff from the movies, but trust me, the real story is way more interesting. So sit back and let me fill you in on this shadowy government agency. CIA history. It all started back in the 1880s, when the US government first started getting serious about foreign intelligence. But after World War II, the US realized we needed a whole new approach to intelligence. The Pearl Harbor attack that brought us into the war? Yep, that was considered a major intelligence failure. So in 1947, President Truman signed the National Security Act, creating the brand new agency called the CIA. Their job? To collect, analyze, and share foreign intelligence to help the president and other government bigwigs make decisions about national security. CIA structure. Now, the CIA didn't start out with a squeaky clean reputation. In fact, it's had its fair share of scandals over the decades. But let's dig a little deeper, shall we? What exactly does this agency do, and how is it structured? Well, the CIA is broken down into 4 main teams, each with their own specific responsibilities. First, you've got the National Clandestine Service. These are your classic James Bond-style spies. They go undercover overseas, collecting human intelligence by recruiting foreign agents to feed them info. Now, these NCS folks, they're a special breed. They're usually pretty highly educated, multilingual, and great at adapting to any situation, even dangerous ones. In fact, most of the time, not even their own friends and family know exactly what they do for a living. Then you've got the Directorate of Science and Technology. Their job is to gather overt intelligence, stuff that's already out there in the public, like on TV, radio, magazines, and the internet. They also use high-tech gadgets like satellite photography. Then, over in the Directorate of Intelligence, that's where all the info from the first 2 teams gets analyzed and written up into reports. These are the brainy types, who need to have killer writing and analytical skills, as well as the ability to present their findings to the top dogs. And lastly, you've got the Directorate of Support. These are the behind-the-scenes folks handling everything from hiring and training to logistics and finance. Without them, the whole operation would grind to a halt. Spy stuff. Now, I know what you're thinking. Being a CIA agent must be the coolest job ever, right? Well, you're not wrong. Those spies really do have some wild gadgets and techniques to help them stay undercover. For example, take the dead drop spike. It's this waterproof device agents use to hide all kinds of goodies, like money, documents, and microfilm. They'll bury that thing in the ground or drop it in a stream to secretly pass along documents, and their contact can come along later and retrieve it. Then there's the old micro-dot camera trick. Back in the 50s and 60s, agents in East and West Berlin would take tiny photos the size of a pinhead and glue them onto regular letters of the post. The recipient could then view the image under a microscope. Talk about sneaky. Oh, and let's not forget the classic hollow silver dollar container. Looks like just a regular coin, but agents can stash secret messages or film inside. Gotta hand it to those CIA techies. They sure know how to get creative. I mean, the stuff these undercover operatives get up to is straight out of the movies. Slipping through crowds unnoticed, using code names, making clandestine exchanges. It's all part of a day's work for these guys. Scandals. But of course, not everything the CIA does is all fun and gadgets. Some of their exploits have been downright shady, like the whole Iran coup in '53. In hindsight, most folks agree that was a big mistake that led to tons of trouble down the road. And the failed Bay of Pigs invasion? Yikes. Talk about an embarrassing blunder. Then there's the whole family jewels scandal in the 70s. Apparently, the CIA had been up to all kinds of nefarious stuff, from plotting to off foreign leaders to spying on American citizens and conducting experiments with LSD on unsuspecting people. Not a good look for an agency that's supposed to be protecting national security. And let's not forget about the Iran-Contra affair in the 80s. That one was a real doozy. Members of the Reagan administration illegally selling arms to Iran, then funneling the profits to a rebel group in Nicaragua. Talk about a tangled web. Heck, they even had a high-ranking mole in their own ranks at one point. Aldrich Ames. This guy was a CIA officer who spent almost a decade spilling secrets to the KGB in exchange for over $2 million. To this day, he's considered the highest paid spy in history. But you know, For all its ups and downs, the CIA has remained a crucial part of the U.S. intelligence community. Even after 9/11, when they took a ton of heat for failing to prevent the attacks, they dusted themselves off and got back to work, beefed up their spy program, improved coordination with other agencies. They knew they had to step up their game. So there you have it, my friends, the wild and woolly history of the Central Intelligence Agency, from scandal-ridden beginnings to high-tech spy gadgets and everything in between. The CIA has certainly had one heck of a ride. Who knows what other juicy secrets they're keeping under wraps.